Hello everybody. So this is the first video of what is going to be a glorious ascent, hopefully to the pinnacle, but let's face it, more likely into the dregs of Total War Warhammer competitive playing. This YouTube channel is going to be a bit of a time machine of my exploits, and this is the first exploit in said exploit. So I am playing Eric the Horrendous. This is my first tournament, and this is not a newbies tournament. This is kind of a experienced people who have played in tournaments before type tournament. So I was quite concerned going in. I've played maybe literally 4 player versus player games, and not a whole lot of the campaign either. So pretty green, pretty uneducated, and we'll see how it goes. So I didn't know how to play Khorne, and I also forgot to save the replay, so we have to go with me doing it on VLC. So get this little bar down here for the time being. So as newbie as it gets. And so I didn't really know what I was doing when I made this build. And excuse the fact there's no game audio because, as I said, this is a screen capture, not the actual replay download from Total War. And I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know what the build would be. And so I came up with what I came up with and then just locked it in and said go. And my general plan was just try to get the home objective and just try and figure out how to engage units, which I had no idea how to. I have no ability to understand what units should go where because I have no game knowledge. And oh man, it would be really good if this was a actual recording, but don't worry, the game doesn't go for long. It's not a long game, let's put it that way, and I'll let you figure out who is the person that wins based upon that statement of it's not a long game. Right, so here I am starting to figure out how to deploy, and again, I mean I know the basic idea of don't have a staggered formation and all that kind of stuff, but I also kind of think that it's a bit redundant for me because I don't actually really know how to move all the units up in the same formation, which is something that apparently can be done. So it was kind of just like, I'm just going to put things wherever I put them and we'll just go. And so I can see here, I remember now, I thought, well, I'll try and split push. I'm going to put a whole bunch of Saurus warriors and some of those Cold One spear riders onto this left side, go for objective 3, and the rest of the army to go for objective 2. Obviously wanting to get my home objective and hopefully being able to at least contest the third objective. So I might fast forward this a little bit. I don't know how long it took for me to set this stuff up. Alright, here we go. Game is on, so I see it's Valkyrie, and I'm like, alright, awesome, because the slan I picked was one that had Spirit Leech, because I was like, I know they're almost certainly going to bring Valkyrie, so I think Spirit Leech is good for Valkyrie, from what I remember watching other people play. And so we'll see how that turns out. So they got the objective straight away with some kind of Vanguard unit. And I straight away was like, okay, I don't want my cavalry going over there and fighting alone. Let's try and loop back around and try and do some kind of sneaky thing. And then I saw Valkyrie going straight over there. So I'm like, okay, that's bad. What do? I don't know what I do. I'll just retreat back towards the other units. Maybe that's a good idea. and then I just kind of rushed the third objective. I was trying to keep the slan a little bit hidden away and get my home objective. And here I was wondering, do I need to push for the first objective? Is that something that's a smart idea? Because I saw there was only 2 units there. And I remember thinking, no, let's not do that. And probably thought it literally that moment I said it. And yeah, let's try and be smart and conservative and push all in on 3, seeing as they're doing that as well. And I don't want to overextend. That was kind of the idea. And I'm trying to Spirit Leech Valkyrie down, but I'm kind of realizing at the same time that it really didn't seem to be doing much. So maybe it's not good on her. I really don't know how to... I really don't know a lot of things. And so, yeah, I'm kind of just trying to be smart. And man, it is so hard, this game. Microing and being aware of what I'm doing. Yeah, it's really quite difficult. By the end of the tournament, by end of the fourth game, I felt like my brain was starting to get a little bit okay with it. But certainly in this game, it was just a complete mess. I barely understood what was going on at all, and certainly not what units should attack what units, and all that kind of stuff. Another thing that's difficult, which I didn't actually mention, is that I'm not really using my left hand, and I have a little foot pedal clicker that replaces my right hand mouse buttons. The reason for that is because I have injuries in my nerves, in my neck and my arms. And so using a keyboard and, repetitive strain kind of stuff is to do with repetitive strain and posture and stuff. And it's been a big deal. And what it amounts to in this situation is I can't use a keyboard. So I'm really, really minimally touching the keyboard. So that kind of makes it a bit harder. So that's why a lot of the time I'm actually going down and clicking on that little icon for the reinforcements. And just moving around. I can't use the control... I can't use the keyboard to move around the screen. I have to use the actual panning mouse. Use the mouse to pan around. Anyway, back to the battle. I mean, it's probably pretty explanatory by looking at it. I am getting dominated in domination. I still have my home point, so that's good, but the value is looking pretty grim. I'm just sort of slowly getting pretty comprehensively routed off the board. And yeah, it's looking a bit dire. I pretty much, I think at this point, had a sense that was happening, even though I was pretty deeply in a state of confusion and just, total and utter confusion. I'm constantly trying to click on the icons, and basically my game plan, too, of how to play the game is just looking at the icons and trying to see which ones are sleeping with the little Z kind of image, and then clicking on them and going and finding out what's going wrong. Yeah, I don't think it goes on for much longer. But what am I... See, I don't even know what to call in. That's the other thing. And it's been a quick realization playing even just the few PvPs before I did this tournament of how Lizardmen just have no Vanguard options. Like, it's like nothing really formidable, it would seem. Maybe that's normal, but it seems Lizardmen are a bit weak on that. I mean, you can get the pterodactyl flying things, and you can get skinks, which and they're all kind of missile units, except for the expensive ones. And yeah, and then they don't have capture weight, so the Vanguard options are pretty dire for quick capture weight and being able to hold points. But maybe that's normal. Probably is. And but I sort of was discovering as it was going on too that putting skinks on a capture point for quick capture weight is bad because they can't get into actual combat. So they'll run off the point as soon as anyone gets there, or they'll fight in hand to hand, and that's just bad news. And there goes the Slan, there goes my lord. Valkyrie, was attacking that and just dunked on that pretty bad. And at this point, I think I kept playing actually for a fair while in this game. Now that I'm thinking back, I think I might have played pretty close towards the end. I hadn't realized at this point that, well, I think I'd realized for sure that I was losing. I mean, look at that value. Wow, almost 9,000 to basically twice, pretty much literally twice the value. I'm down. Well, my opponent is up, and I've lost my back capture point. So that's all bad news. And I knew I knew it was done for sure at this point. And here I'm trying to be clever and put the units on the corner rather than engaging them. And what a good, was it Slapnir? Is that how you pronounce it? That was a pretty good cast, and really just putting the final blow in, the final nail into my coffin, I guess. It was fun though. And my opponent, Eric the Horrendous, was really, really awesome. Like, even before we started playing this, really, really cool, really accommodating, really easy to talk to. I was telling him how I have no idea what I was doing. And there we go. I concede because I was like, at this point, it wasn't really even fun anymore because I just didn't even have units to play with. Like, I couldn't even just run around and pretend like I might win. And so, yeah, it was pretty bleak. And then after the game, Eric the Horrendous was really, really awesome. Gave me so much advice on how that could have gone a bit better, how the build was just really, really not good at all, because I didn't know what I was doing with that build. No idea. And he said how, well, he or she, I don't know, said that, units are not the way. Do not try and fight the good fight in melee with Khorne. So I took a lot of advice and a lot of experience away from that match. Khorne would have been happy. Lots of skulls for Khorne. Lots of blood shed. Lizard blood. I don't know if Khorne likes lizard blood. What would it be? Would it be green? Do lizards in real life have different colored blood? What does fantasy lizard blood look like? That's an interesting conversation. I'm sure there's some kind of niche conversation going on somewhere on a Discord channel about that. So that's the end of the first competitive tournament PvP game and the end of the first video of this new channel. What a fun time, and I hope when I'm watching back this video in a year that I am winning tournaments and kicking butt, and I'm in the Hall of Fame as the best player that's ever existed. The total GOAT. We'll see. Check back in a year. All right. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next video.